Hello and welcome to another Mumbo Jumbo, this time for the week of, it's the 1st of March, or it is around about the time when I'm recording this. We are careening into March now, which it probably means something for the board game world. Don't know what. The weekend's been and gone. It's a blur. Played some games, which we'll get to in a minute. And not much else, to be honest with you. No, it was one. I painted a fence. That was kind of it. Isaac helped. That was interesting. So that happened, and that's about it. How are you? How's everyone? All keeping well? I'm gonna put out my mind in the existential dread of nuclear Armageddon for the minute, because that's just park that, because we've got board games to talk about. Wow, yeah, don't need that in my life. I'm just gonna ignore that. This particular issue, and that's it. So I hope you're well. I hope you're keeping out of safe and all that sort of stuff and things. And that's that really. So that's just get on with what I played. Played games really quick. Tyrants, we did get that to the table again. We played it before. I wanted to play the last couple of decks. We did. They were kind of cool. There was Elementals was one of them, which kind of buffed stuff and did cool things with cards to allow you to play more stuff. It was a nice little touch. I can't remember what the other bit was, so we'll forget about that. But yeah, played it again. Played a couple more games of Tyrants, and then we mixed up a deck just to try something else out. I like the variety of it. It is an interesting game. I've covered it already before on here. If you're in the mood for a hybrid deck builder area control game, it does it very well. It's not too heavy on the rules. It's pretty easy to teach. There's a nice bit of variety in there. For about 30 quid you can get this for, a little bit around that. It's not a bad price. So yeah, quite like that. We played a bit more of that, enjoyed more of that, and everyone else had picked up a bit more tactics, so that was nice. Then the weekend just gone, we played me, Ben, Bob, Robbie, there was just four of us on Friday night, so we pulled out something else. We were going to try a couple of things, but Ben brought Legacies, which I mentioned a couple of videos ago, so we got that back to the table because it had been a real long game last time and a heavy duty teach. As we'd all played it before, it seemed sensible that we could dive straight in. Very quickly, Legacies, if you don't know, it was a Kickstarter game. It is a very heavy Euro. It involves some stock manipulation in the board, so you've got stocks and shares you're buying, and the stock market goes up and down there. There is relationships, which seems to be the core of the game. Of relationships with different characters on the board will generate you different incomes. There's special super duper people you can make relationships with, which will give you extra actions, one of which is to use your player power. In the game, it's got asynchronous powers. When we played it the first time, we played it with a friendly version, but there is, on the opposite side of the player boards, a bit of more of a take that version of it. So we went balls deep and had all that going on. And there's a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of moving parts to this one. And I discussed it last time, and it was a hell of a teach, and it went on a bit, and I was left after that first game going, I kind of get what it's doing. I'm not sure if I like what it's doing. I wasn't left with that I got to catch them all feel. I wasn't with the over. I just was missing that zing for me. So anyway, we dug it out, we played it again. I had a different character. Everyone I think had different characters. We all played with the bitch slapping side, and off we went. I tried out just a lot of different stuff. I tried a lot more of the relationships on the board, with the people, and I was earning stuff that way. I lesser to the stock market. I didn't worry at all about my artifacts or whatever, the heirlooms or whatever. I think they're heirlooms, which you can buy and trade to give you extra bits on the economy side. But my player power was to do with the foundation, which there's 2 score tracks, one other thing. One's basically a victory point track. The other one's foundation, which you can put money into, which the higher it goes up, it starts equating into victory points, the higher the value you earn on it. My special power essentially allowed me, at the different ages of the game, to steal a big old chunk of other players' foundation and add it to mine and give me some victory points. So it's kind of a no-brainer. And the perception at the start of the game was I had it in the bag because of that power. It wasn't to be. I think I came last in the end, actually, but it was very tight. And Mainly, I think I would have won the game had I been able to use the player power more. Now, there's some cards in each age which allow you to do that, but there is one of these these famous people. I don't know, one of these people you can have a relationship with, which allows you to use your player power. However, you can only put one down. If you get bounced out of that slot, then you can do it again. You got cards you play, and there's tiles you play. We covered all that. So what the problem was, late half of the game, I managed to kind of capitalise on my player power about the first 2 ages. Third age, I'd set myself up for being bounced out of the slot to be able to play the power, to really leap up that foundation track, because I'd worked on the principles of, I'd kind of committed to that. That seemed the route to go. I had other irons in fires, but really that foundation track was what was going to kind of close that gap. And not many people bumped me, so I only got to use it like once or twice. Once, I think, in that last round, if at all. And it made a big difference. So I'm going to come forth. Had I been able to use that, I think it would have been the difference, me closing that gap, and I would have potentially either come higher up the rankings or won it, I feel. So, all of that said, where do I come down on it? Again, I'm left with, I enjoy what it's doing to a point. I understand now what it's doing. I get it. But I'm still not left with that, I want to do it again. I liked the engine that was doing. Oh, I quite enjoyed that. I want to do it again. And that is still not there after second play. It's a good game. I'm not saying it's a terrible game. I think if for some people who are into that heavier, weightier Euro-y side, there's a lot of meat to this, and there is a lot to get your head around. And I'm not saying after 2 plays, which this is my second play, that I'm anywhere closer to really having my head fully around it, what the best optimum move is. It niggles for me is the player powers. You don't get to use them enough, maybe. Now, maybe that's down to people not bouncing me off of there, but there's not many of the cards themselves that give you more player powers. There's also only a few of them that give you extra cards, and I have found in the first round we played is I didn't touch any of the tiles, end game tile things, which score stuff. I doubled down on the cards and pulled as many more cards as I could and tried to play out as many as them in that first round, because they seem to be doing more of the stuff. And I think, to a point, that's kind of the key, the zingy point of the game is actually everyone optimizing as much card play as they can each round before you move on to that scoring tiles thing, because they kind of all score all the stuff you're doing on the board. And the first games we played of it, there was very much this, play a couple of cards, then zing to the good stuff. But actually, I think the key to the game is kind of everyone really optimizing those card play moves to get the maximum out of every round. Kind of that tapestry-esque thing before you're triggering that stuff. Obviously, clearly, there's other people triggering stuff before you, so it's kind of this balancing act of trying to get maximum value for oomph before the ones you really want to trigger to get the good bonus off get nicked. So yeah, it's if you're really into that big, heavy Euro stuff, and you like what it does, which essentially the storyline behind it is your family for the ages. It kind of is loosely kind of in there. There's a lot of meat to it. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's an interesting puzzle to confound you. I enjoyed the play of it. It was a lot quicker. Yeah, it was a lot quicker than it was. It was still a good couple of hours. And that was at 4 of us. I think this plays up to 6, which I would still, I'm of the mindset of that would be very stupid, but it might also maybe result in more of that stuff popping around. I don't know. Anyway, I'm left with the thing of, yeah, I enjoyed it. Yes, it's heavy. Yeah, I get it. We are going to play it again, I think, because I know Ben wants to bring it to a Sunday with the other guys, which will mean and teach for a couple of them, but they're pretty good, Tony and Jamie. They kind of grok stuff very quickly. So I think that won't be so much of an issue. I'm still left going, I all of the stuff, but I'm still not, I need to play that again. You know, I'm not firmed up there. I'm just kind of left, kind of flaccid. But, you know, well, maybe a twinge. Definitely a twinge, but we're not standing to attention in any way. I think not. Moving on very quickly from that. And then we had a pop at Pandemic Legacy Season 0, got that back to the table on Sunday. We played the last 2 games of the first part. So the Legacy deck is split into 2 parts. We finished part 1 of the Legacy deck, which takes us to June, I think it is. What I will say about Legacy Season 0, I like what it's doing. It has definitely got more complexity than standard Pandemic. it's kind of amusing. Jamie pointed that out when we were playing this. We started playing the game during a pandemic, and now we're playing a Cold War spy thriller, whilst we're just on the emergence of a new Cold War. So, okay, that's current, I guess. Anyway, so I like all that, and it's got a lot. The complexity ramps up as you do later into the games, and I'm not going to go into any spoilers here, so be fine. But yeah, there's a lot more. This kind of complexity ramps up, and there's a lot of stuff now going on, but just enough that you kind of feel you've still got a handle on it, and it's very much like risk reward with this, and it's definitely this. You can't do it all, so it's kind of picking where you fail. I like the storyline, which because it's got like a choose your own adventure type style book with it, and you're submitting reports that you're tweaking, and I like how the storyline is evolving around this spying and this double crossy sort of stuff, where it might be going. And I like this. It's adding some more mechanisms to the game. There's some stuff coming now that we don't really know what its effect is going to be on the later half of the game, but that'd be interesting to see how that plays out. There's some other cool stuff came in the last game. Some really cool, interesting tweaks on how you could use the mechanisms and how Pandemic works and what's available there to do something a little bit else. And that's a nice touch. Just something a little bit else, a little bit more complexity and something else going on to think about. And it's some of it staring you in plain sight. And it's a nice, so I like that. It's really good stuff, actually. And definitely, I think as a legacy game, it's rewarding. It hasn't got the, as of yet, that Christmas present morning risk limit season 1 game of opening those boxes and something really whizzy cool coming out, but we are in the second half now, so perhaps they're holding something cool back. At the moment, it's been interesting bits you've popped open, but there has not been a blow your socks off legacy box opening moment. I hope that it's coming, depending on, we've got this Cold War storyline and all this shit and kind of hide and stay and spies and shit and things and stuff and viruses. Ooh, it does feel like that's something's coming there, and if they don't do it, that seems a missed opportunity, but I think they will. So yeah, really enjoying that. If you liked your legacy games and if you enjoyed definitely the first season of Pandemic Legacy, this comes highly recommended. It is a bit more involved, a bit more complex, but I'm kind of liking what it's doing. I like a lot of what it's doing, and aesthetic choices and other things. It's all kind of cool. So that's it. That's what we've been playing, mainly those. And we play some fluff. Always have your fluff cup handy. That's what I'll say in regards to that. Let's do some news quick. Here is the news. News. So 51st State is on GameFound. Portal Games is part of 51st State. 51st State, if you're not aware, is Imperial Settlers 2.0, kind of. I think it is a leaner post-apocalypse version of Imperial Settlers. It makes it a bit faster. It's not so bloaty. It doesn't go on so long. It's got some take that-ish elements. And actually, I like it as a refined engine buildery type game with asynchronous setups. All of that's kind of cool. It's a good game. There's been about 3 or 4 little mini card pack expansions for it. Though annoyingly, I don't think they ever actually put out the extra player boards to give you a bit more power as options in there. I think it was on the original Portal only website version release, and I think it later came maybe it was available off the Portal site. There is on the GameFound thing. It's essentially a big box. I think it's got all the expansion. It's got all the expansion in there. A lot of the blinged wood components that they originally offered on the pre-order campaign ages ago when it first came out, and some more player boards and all that sort of stuff. And so it's not actually unreasonably priced, and kudos to Portal are doing a funding drive as well for to support the shit that's going on in the world at the moment. Anyway, which is worthy alone of that. So what I will say, if you don't own it and you're on the fence for it, it's not a horrific price on it. For what you're going to get, it's a big old box, a lot of stuff. You will never need any more of this. I myself have played mostly the base game. I have one of the expansions I picked up myself personally, I think a few expos ago, and I have the Moloch expansion, which involves an AI robot element, which I've got to review because that was a review thing sent from Portal, so I will do that And we'll do that, Mr. Ignacy, when I play it again. It's a good game. Z Garcia loves it, says it's one of his best games ever in the world ever. Amen. And he's all right. Other people have. I like it. I enjoy that deck builder puzzle of it. Weirdly, it's one I need to get to the table more. Don't know why. Other stuff. This is the whole thing. Need to play more of it. So it's one I want to play again because we played it one Sunday. Went down quite well. Want to give that another pop. Me personally, am I going to back it? Probably not, because I own enough of it. I don't need the cosmetic enhancement of the wooden bits. I quite fancy maybe one of the new expansions. Yes. But I need to play the other ones I've got anyway yet. So I don't need it because I haven't played all of what I've got. So I won't. But if you're in the market for something like that, it's a solid back, I think. Yeah, it's $80, I think, which is not the cheapest ever, but you get a lot of content in there. The base game, I think, I don't think it runs you about probably going to be upwards of 30, upwards to 40 quid. So is it worth the extra bits? All the other bits. It's not bad. If you price it all out, it's a pretty good deal. So yeah, I say have a peek at that. I like 51st State. Have a look at that if that's your thing. Board Game Geek, I think it was some 3 million users, which is a lot of people using Board Game Geek. So well done everyone for doing that. Amazing. Gale Force 9 have announced a couple of new releases stuff. They're doing another Doctor Who game. They put out the other Doctor Who game, which name escapes me, something in time or something. They're now putting out Blink, I think it is, which is based on the one episode where the Weeping Angels, they were like these stone statues that only move when you weren't looking at them. Kind of a creaky setup. It's a good episode, good solid standalone spooky Doctor Who episode. And I like the idea of the Weeping Angels is kind of a core concept. So there's a board game of you escaping from Weeping Angels in a mansion or something. Sounds kind of cool as a standalone thing. I mean, Doctor Who's got lots of really cool standalone episodes. Old Doctor Who, new Doctor Who, whatever. My overriding thing is the Peter Davison Cylon one where they're on the spaceship. There's like an epic space battle movie. It probably doesn't hold up well. And Aldrak, one of his mate, he carks it. I remember that much. That was kind of, as a childhood, I remember that being cool. It was like Star Wars and Doctor Who combined. I suspect seeing it now, it would be not that. But at the time, it was fucking cool. Anyway, so standalone episodes. I want that. I want to be able to fight Cybermen in Star Wars type thing. Doctor Who. Do that somehow. But yeah, I like the idea of standalone episodes based on some of the kind of cool Doctor Who episodes, because there is some quite cool ones, monsters and stuff. So that could be a thing. I quite like that. I don't know what the pricing is going to be on it. If it's kind of 20 quid or around about that mark, it might be quite a nice little sort of thing pick up. We shall see. And they've also bringing out Wise Guys, which is kind of the reskin of Sons of Anarchy. It pretty much is, but they've changed it. I don't know, there's a new designer name attached to it, even though it pretty much looks like the old design from the other thing with some new theming. Don't know if you've never played Sons of Anarchy, or it's a good game. It's kind of similar to Godfather's of Corleone's Empire by Eric Lang, kind of similar-ish sort of thing with a randomized setup, but it's kind of a worker placement, get loads of cash. So this is going to be kind of you booze running and loads of cash, I guess, instead of drugs and loads of cash. It had some really cool components in it. You had big stacks of cash you could get in the game and hide them behind your screen. It was like something up Breaking Bad, but it was good. It was a good game. It was probably just below Corleone's Empire. I thought there's a smoother, better design and play, but it's a good close second as a sort of cheaper cousin to it. So if it's reasonably priced, it might be something to look for if you've not got the other one or you're looking for something like that. So that happened. There's quickly stuff I've watched. So I watched Nightmare Alley from the Guillermo del Toro. I love his stuff, love his aesthetics of his stuff. This has got all the good shit I like. It's got really fucking fantastic cast. There's a lot of it to do. It's a film noir. Got Bradley Cooper in it. It's got Cate Blanchett. It's got lots of fucking people. Ron Perlman obviously clearly turns up. There's loads of a fucking good cast. And it starts off in a circus sideshowy type affair, which is my jam. I love the Americana, the circus sideshows and freak shows and all that kind of stuff. I'm obsessed with that for a while. And I like it, and it's very well portrayed in this setup. And before it follows Bradley Cooper's kind of magician act into the city and his rise and inevitable fall, as his film noir is filled with. Gorgeous movie, absolutely stunningly gorgeous movie. I know they've put out a black and white one of it I haven't seen. I will say this, it's not the easiest watching around. It's kind of fairly brutal, and it doesn't have a happy ending, is what I'll say on it. So if you're looking for some light-hearted fun and games to kind of put your mind aside for what's going on maybe elsewhere, this is not it. Just saying. Feeling a bit down, maybe go and watch Bambi or something, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just something to pep you up. But this is probably not going to get you kicks. Just saying, it's a bit of a cock block when it comes to that. But it looks gorgeous. I will say that for it. I enjoyed it. I thought it looked gorgeous. Wonderful cast. It's not something I'm going to rush to watch again, purely in the realms of just like, Jesus, that was okay. But it's good. It's beautifully shot. Absolutely beautifully shot. It's got all of the stuff, if you like Del Toro's hang-ups and babies in jars and all that sort of peculiarities. Not any sort of monsters and none of that sort of shit going on. This is just a noir thing. Kind of cool. But, well, it comes recommended as something maybe to look at. Peacemaker, I've watched the final part of the Peacemaker first season, last couple of episodes of that. Stonkingly good fun. I really enjoyed Peacemaker. I've said it a couple of times already. If you've not watched it, watch it. It's a really great James Gunn directed, written, produced superhero nonsense bullshit stuff. Good fun. John Cena is a fucking just revelation in some of the bits in this, and the rest of the cast is solid as hell. And it's funny and it has got that heart in there, and it does some good stuff, and it goes with some great. It balances such a good thing between fucking ridiculous shit and heart touching moments, and just like opening a character up to the. But anyway, it was good. I enjoyed Peacemaker. Well worth a look if you've not watched it. It's got some brains and heart in there, as well as all the bullshit going on, which is fun. So that was good. As opposed to that, me and the missus were going for The Walking Dead. I have a love-hate for Walking Dead. I read the comics up to a certain period of time, started watching the show, left the show, I think it's season 4-ish or something, when they fucked the governor storyline up. Returned briefly, I think, for the couple of Negan episodes, and found that just dragged on a bit. And then came back again when the Whisperers turned up, which I think was season 8, I'm going to say maybe. And that was actually really solid. I thought season 8 was really a good return to what made it good. Bad guys were scary. It was a good concept. It was well played out. And it was a strong start, and it went on okay. And again, the second season with the Whispers kind of started having those problems again. And now we find ourselves in the last season of Walking Dead. And we're halfway through the last season, and it's just shit, isn't it? It just is shit. My problems are, number one, none of the main characters have died at any point soon recently, and there has been times in the last couple of seasons when they've been put in mortal peril. They, by every right, should be fucking dead, because they're stupid, and they're doing stupid shit, and they're stupid. And at least what Game of Thrones worked to us, and the early seasons of Walking Dead worked, is that you never knew who was safe, and they would kill people off here, there, everywhere. Bet that George R. R. Martin shock value, and it worked, and that was kind of the hook. It was an interesting thing. And now we've got seasons and seasons and seasons of the same fucking characters, no one in peril, or if the peril comes, they're going to walk away with it. Last 2 seasons, so we've had the first half of the last season, which set up, I think they were called the Reapers. They were supposed to be like a special forces unit, supposed to be scary ass, fucking scary, ninja sort of fucking SAS type dudes in the woods. Should have been scary. That's what they kind of said. These guys are scary, everyone's threatened by them. Whoa. Our characters go off to take them on and snick food, I think, because otherwise they're all going to starve to death at the colony. And despite all of that, the guys, these Reaper characters, their fucking tactics suck like balls. If these were special forces, go and get someone from the special forces to come in and just train some people and make them look effective, and maybe have some form of tactic, because none of it makes any fucking sense. It's dumb. Then we get the first episode of the new season, which essentially invalidates the entirety of the first season, because they've gone to get food, they turn up with the food at the end of that, and then we get the bargain bucket fucking stormtroopers turn up, and then we wipe to 6 months later, and invalidate the entirety of that first fucking season, part of the season, because it didn't mean anything. No one died anyway. Didn't mean anything. And now I'm on to the second episode that I've been watching tonight we're indoors, and I just cannot be arsed with it. I cannot be arsed to waste my fucking time. It all looks like it's being shot on a fucking backlot now. None of it fucking makes any sense. They're kind of doing the Land of the Dead storyline, I think, where you've got civilization carrying on despite the things. There's this rich-poor divide. Whether it's intentional or not, all the rich are crusty old white people, and all the people of colour are serving them. Now, either that's the most fucking dumbfoundingly stupid fucking choice in TV recently, or maybe they're trying to say something. Fine. I can't be asked to hang around to see what the intent is regarding this, because it's just dumb. All the storylines, all the people, everything about it. None of it makes any fucking sense, really. It's just dumb. It's just dumb fucking writing. It's like the soap opera zombies. It's just, wow, it's shit. It should be so much better. They should have a decent writing team behind this. Could have made this really fucking good. And it's just repeating the same fucking boring shit. And I guarantee the end of the second half of the season, they're still not going to pay everything off because they've got a fucking movie coming out. So you're still just going to be left with a cock tease at the end of all of this, I suspect. Don't bother. Anyway, that's annoyed me to a certain extent. You may have picked up on. That's it. I've got some stuff to be doing. I've still got stuff to edit. I've still got some other stuff to do. I've always, ever, forever stuff to do. However, we'll get to that. I've been Mike B. This has been the Mumbo Jumbo for blah de blah de blah. Nice to catch up with you again. All been lovely. That's it, really. There is nothing else to say. That's it. Look after yourself. Stay safe as best you can. Everyone out there. And let's do this again soon. I think we will. Let's do that. Excellent. Until then, ta-ta. See you soon. Bye.